Yep, make sure the angle's right. Okay, cool. Is this my good side? How's the lighting? I don't know.
All right, show them who you are.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Wells, in case they didn't tell you, and I need to do some heavy lifting. So, anyway, actually that was a mistake. Gosh, that's cutting into my wrist. Yeah, I'm not as strong as I thought I was, but you know, if this act is any indication. Anyway, so if I seem a bit tired, I just got back from like a 2-day camping trip with my Special Forces uncle, and he's like, hey, we're gonna go primitive camping. I'm like, oh gosh! I imagine that it's gonna be like Red Dawn, but like the good one from the 80s, not the one with Josh Peck and Thor, which, to their credit, you know, gosh, okay, it's not as bad as I thought. To their credit, I did like how they there was a bit of an arc, like, it wasn't just, you know, Patrick Swayze like, guys, it's World War III, this is what we're gonna have to do. Like, they gave him, like, you know, he was like an Iraq war vet, and there was some tension between him and his brother, there was some history, so they had to overcome that. Although the Swayze one was better, you know, it just, I don't know, they just don't make movies like that anymore. It isn't just like cut. But here's the funny thing, like, y'all know like the story behind that movie, right? Originally, the bad guys in that movie were China, but they wanted to show the movie in China, so they spent about $1 million changing everything from China to North Korea. They dubbed over all the audio, and it's like, and I can tell that this was an afterthought bit of dialogue to like try to help make things make sense. They're like, North Korea, that's impossible, and it's like, they had to have had help. It's like, that fixes everything and makes everything seem so much more plausible. But yeah, like, even though that had Josh Peck, it didn't get a Kids' Choice Awards or anything. But I guess the whole camping trip like took way more out of me than I thought, because like, you know, I thought I was going to be able to take my pre-workout with me, because I think I'm like undiagnosed ADHD, and it's like I basically have to have 200 milligrams of caffeine pumping through me, or else I just don't function. So anyway, my brother's like, hey, can you grab 2 Monster energy drinks? You can have one. And I bring my pre-workout with me anyway. As soon as I get to the site, my uncle's like, okay, we gotta put this stuff in the bag. And he puts away the pre-workout. I'm like, it's fine, I've got a Monster Energy. And as soon as we get there, he sees one of the Monsters and just drinks it. I'm like, I'm screwed. Even though I don't have anything to do, it's just, I mean, I don't have any major responsibility other than carrying a backpack. I just found out I'm having a dangerous addiction to caffeine, or I might be undiagnosed ADHD, so I just need some sort of stimulant to try to be like a normal person, or as close to the threshold of normalcy as possible, because I drink coffee, and that has maybe 50 milligrams of caffeine, and I'm just waiting like, when do we get home? When do we get home? And it's like, I'm like, Jesus, if you can give me some caffeine, I promise I'll go to church every Sunday. And I honestly don't know why I didn't stop on a gas station on the way home to get some caffeine. But yeah, I guess I was that deprived from like my normal stuff. But it was like reaching and here's the thing, I work at Chick-fil-A, and I thought that I didn't know what day it was today. I forgot it was Sunday. So like, you know, all my family loves Chick-fil-A, and I suggest going to Whataburger. I'm like, oh man, they're gonna make me go to Chick-fil-A. And there's a Chick-fil-A right next to the Whataburger we pulled up to. I'm like, oh, it looks vacant. I'm like, wait a minute, it's Sunday. But funny thing is, I actually had that thrown right back in my face. Like, I used to think that I hated vegetables. until I started hanging out with Koreans and I ate kimchi. And then I realized, oh, I don't hate vegetables. It's just that my white stepmom doesn't know how to make them. Anybody ever have like the raisins in walnuts in a salad? And I'm like, who's that for? And I'm not the first person to make that observation. I think, I think Chadwick Boseman, God rest his soul, I think he made that observation in an SNL skit. But anyway, shoot, I totally lost my thread. Walnuts, yes. Vegetables, oh yeah. So, and payback. So anyway, one of the ways that not payback against her, Anyway, I found out what it's like to be closed on Sundays. So anyway, there's this restaurant I like going to, Earth Burger. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a vegan restaurant, and they're run by Seventh-day Adventists. So they celebrate the Sabbath on Saturday. Anyway, my sister shows me she shows me this place, and I'm like, okay, I can eat vegetables, kind of. And then one day I get a Saturday off work, and I decide, I'm going to go there. But it's closed. I'm like, oh shoot, they're closed on Saturday. And then I'm like, oh, so that's what it feels like. But anyway, gosh, I've said that way too much. I remember I was waiting for this event to happen, and I hear the techno music, and all I can think of is that movie Blade, and it's like, in fact, if C. Wayne walked in with sunglasses on, I was just waiting for some guy to be like, it's a daywalker. But I just need to let him borrow my jacket. But anyway, I can't believe they actually thought that they were going to be able to replace, I don't know. There's only one Blade in anybody's book. That I forget his name. Is it Asher Mala? I don't want to ruin his name. But he was rumored to be the front runner for an MCU Blade, but it's
They just released the trailer today.
Really? They did? Oh wow. Wow. Has anybody seen this trailer? It is it look good?
Yeah.
Oh wow. How does it compare to the OG one?
It looks like a Marvel movie.
Oh, okay.
Cinematic universe.
Okie doke. Well, what doesn't get a reboot these days? I know my act right now probably needs one, but again, I didn't get proper sleep on a bed last night, so I thought I might have heard a skinwalker walking outside my tent, but then I realized it was just Joe Biden. I gotta give Joe Biden this credit for this. He's done something that Clinton, Bush, Obama, and Trump could never get me to do. He has forced me to eat food at home because, it's like I go to Whataburger and I have to spend $15. I'm like, yeesh. I remember when the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich cost $5.36. And it's like, well, props to you, Joe. I'm going to be a bit thinner. But, it's funny. He wouldn't be the first, old white president to make somebody do something with an ulterior motive. I think y'all remember famously that, Bill Clinton, he's like, guys, we gotta look to the future and, the internet, the information superhighway. And it's like, oh wow, that's noble of you, Mr. President. But now that we know what we know about him, it's like, I think I know why Bill Clinton was so eager to have the internet up and running. It's like, if you saw him at Aretha Franklin's funeral and you saw the way he was looking at Ariana Grande, it's like, oh boy. And that old charm he used to have is it's wearing off, but probably not as much as my act. But anyway, you guys have been lovely. Thank you for indulging me. And it's more than my high school ever did, so y'all have a lovely evening.
Woo! Give it up for David Wells. 7-day, what do they call them? 7-day, whatever.